the deal. You don't have to be a photographer to love photography. You don't have to want to be a photographer to love photography. The one thing I would say, most importantly, you have to be inspired when you get to see some photography that touches you, right? It's about inspiration. Last night I went and saw this film about this incredible woman called Beth Ann Hardison. And she really is an advocate for young black women, models in the fashion industry. I was so inspired by this woman's journey, just watching her tell her story and how she touched all these beautiful black young women. It just was so moving. So I was like, wow, there's a woman that did something that inspired me as a filmmaker now, as a photographer. And I'm hoping, you know, when you do this tour, I want you to feel inspired when you see something, you go, wow, I didn't know that story, or you learn something new. Because this is what this is all about today, is you being inspired, learning something, and maybe possibly wanting to go and tell your own story. And here's the deal, who here has an iPhone or a smartphone? So most of you have a smartphone? Most of you? You don't have one? You have an iPad? Okay, so you have a way to be creative using a digital format. Do you know what you can do with your iPhones? And you can do so much. You can tell so many stories. You can do so many things. Back in my day, I hate to say it, how many years ago was it when 18 years ago when I first started photography, can you believe digital was not out yet? So I was using film. Now, if I had an iPad or a camera, you know, iPhone, what you can do with it is incredible. The quality, but it doesn't matter about the quality. Here's the deal. I feel blessed that now I get to use a pretty amazing camera, but I've worked very hard to get to a place where Leica are like, oh, you can use one of our, you know, amazing apparatus that allows me to tell these stories. My first camera was the worst camera ever, but I still told my stories. I still managed to play around. Someone stole that camera. I'll never forget it. I was in Miami. Someone went past my car and I was shooting this little story with a friend, and they stole my bag and it had my camera in it. And I was devastated because I felt like that camera was what helped me tell these stories. And the guy that developed my film, he went, thank goodness it's gone. He said it was the worst camera ever. So I worked a little harder and I saved up some money and I bought a Nikon, and then I slowly built. But if I'd have had an iPhone or a smartphone, the stuff I could have done. Anyway, you have tools at your disposal to say so much. So okay, let's just talk about this work in here today. What was the standout photo for you? Let's start with you. What's your name? Say it again? Megan. Nice to meet you, my love. So tell me, what photo spoke to you today? Why? Again?
I feel like it told us like the country was in the Caribbean by the trees and stuff.
Beautiful. Some people ask me, why did I choose this palette? Because you think of the Caribbean and you think of like turquoise ocean and bright blue sky. And I grew up on this island, and for me, I wanted to tell it in a different way. So I kind of muted everything just to give it a little bit of a more grounded hue, because I felt like otherwise it looked like a brochure to go on holiday. So I wanted it to be a little bit more artistic. But yes, this is one of the beaches where I grew up. I used to go there every day. So for me, I wanted to share the beauty of look how incredibly pristine that water is. Does anybody know where Barbados is?
Kind of.
Go on, where is it?
I think it's like in the Caribbean.
It's in the Caribbean. Do you know where the Caribbean is? From New York? Go on, my love. Yes. Yes. So New York, if I do it this way, New York, Miami, and then the Caribbean islands do this, and then you have South America down here. Barbados is the furthest to the right, furthest in the Atlantic Ocean. It's only 4.5 hours from here by plane. If you went by boat, that'd be a whole different thing. But by plane, it's 4.5 hours. So pretty close, but you're straight away in that gorgeous temperature, kind of like it is today, sweaty and warm and Caribbean energy. Okay, so you love that one. Which photo stood out to you? What's your name?
Petal.
Petal. What a great name, sweetheart. Go on. Which one? This one up here? Oh, the woman. Okay, as a guess, how far away do you think I was from this woman? Her name's Tyra. How far away do you think I was? She's in the ocean, obviously, and I'm obviously on the beach. I was not in the water. Can you take a guess?
Yeah.
I was pretty far. I was like 50 feet away. Can you imagine my lens, how good it was to capture? Did you see all the water?
Clear, and you could see like the difference in like the waves.
Right, right. All the it's almost like a painting. I was looking at, so you know, you take a photo, even if you're on your camera, it's only this big, but when you get to put it on your computer and it's suddenly bigger, it's like, oh my God. So if you look into this photo, there's a whole bunch of different things going on. You've got the depth of field, and then do you see the hues of light right there on the end? And every single droplet of water coming off of her braids. Isn't that amazing? I was amazed. I didn't know I captured something like that until I got home. I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. So thanks, Petal, for liking that one.
Can you just talk a little bit about stop action as opposed to like longer exposures? You know, so
Right.
kind of describing how you can capture those water droplets.
Right. Well, yes. Well, here's the other thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I'll say this, right? If you look around the room, okay, I'd like you to point out to me something that I captured in the moment. Show me a photo in here that something I captured in the moment.
Oh, that one that's over there with the cards.
Which one? The cards. Okay, perfect.
That one?
This one I kind of created as well because they were playing. That one I created, but it looks like a moment. Okay, I'll give you the obvious one. This one's in the moment. The guy's walking. There's an actioning happening. The guy's waving. You know what he said to me as I was sitting in my car and I was going to get out, and he goes, "Take me home with you." And I went, "If I take your photo, I'll take it home with me. Dan, you can come home with me in my camera." He's like, "Oh, all right." And then I took the photo, and that was what happened. So this was definitely I was driving, and that was that moment captured. Down at the end, the guy playing the cards, he was just doing his thing, and I captured that moment. These two here, I asked them to come to the beach and meet me so that I could take these photos. So they were hanging out, but it was kind of set up a little bit where I said, you know, have some fun. So each time I'm in, like this was me spending 10 minutes waiting for the waves to come in at a certain pace, making sure my exposure was a certain way. So every time you're in a different scenario, yes, you have to use a different camera exposure, a different way to sit with your camera, because if somebody's walking and you don't have the right exposure on your camera, it'll be blurry. So this is why this is so crisp and clear, is that I had the exposure perfectly done so that it would really quickly take the image. And when it opens and closes super quick, it means it can capture everything crisp and clear. When it opens up slowly and then closes and someone moves, you know those images where you see the lights pulling? That's because the exposure opens the camera, it stays a beat, and then it closes. And that's why whatever they were capturing at that moment would have been slightly out of focus or would have had some movement. So, so there's different things going on in here with different stories. Like the boy, the main poster, the boy on the shoulder, that little baby is being carried by his 9-year-old uncle. And when I said to the uncle, the young boy, I said, "Can I take your picture?" He turned his back to me, and there was the little boy, and I took the photo. And then as soon as I saw that photo, I feel, oh, I have a story. Because it's all about storytelling. So if I were to say, walking around in here, is there a story that stands out to you? Go on, my love. What story do you feel comes through? Just in general, like, do you get a feeling when you come out?
I feel like it tells us, like it tells us what place.
Gives you the feeling of an island. What do you think? What's your name? Scarlett. These names are so great. Tell me, Scarlett, what do you feel when you come in here?
I feel like I see how like people live,
Mm-hmm.
and I see like how it would be like when people are like here, like how people live here, and like what it's like and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's the question, right? So if you had a camera right now and you were gonna take a photo, where would be the optimal place to stand? Where would be the best place? Let's just say we're gonna use you. This is who you're gonna take a photograph of. Where would be the best place? I want you to all get into position like you're going to take a photo of this beautiful woman. You can face any way you want. You can spin around. And where would be the best place to take a photo of her looking at light? Just to get an idea if any of you are just understanding the use of light. Where would you want to stand to take a photo of her right now? Let me see. Let me see. Go on. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you don't move. You don't move. You're the subject. I just want to see where everybody would stand. Stand where you'd want to take the picture. Let me have a look. Is everybody standing where they'd want to take that photo? Is that where you take the photo? You take the photo from there? You take it from there? You're still staying there. Okay, and where would you take this photo? Are you going to be there? If you were going to take a photo of her? Where you are? Or you can move, you can move. Okay, if you were going to take a photo of her, I have to be honest, that would be the best place. Anywhere in this line, should I tell you why? Where you're standing, the light is coming this way. So the light is on her face. See how beautiful? As the photographer, wherever your sun is, make sure there's the sun behind me, take the photo of the person. Just a side note, if you're going to take a photo. But if you chose to do it the way you did, that could be very artistic and creative and different. So that's okay too. There's no right or wrong when it comes to taking photos, but sometimes you want optimal, like I really want to see her face, this would be a great angle. If you want to do something artistic, where you were going to go, amazing. Creativity can be anything you want it to be. Just remember that. You can be and do and have your own voice all the time. Well, I have to say thank you so much, all of you, for coming. I'm going to say there's one word I want to leave you all with for today. Maybe 2 words. Curiosity. Be curious. Be curious in life. Be curious around all that is happening around you in art, in your digital ability to connect stories and storytelling. Curiosity is really the seed of everything creative. So be curious, go forth, drink lots of water, and have a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.